Welcome to the first of the Bible studies that we'll be doing together. Um, I don't know how many of these we will be doing in this way with a video, some notes, and a Zoom meeting. Normally, I just meet with a group of people and we look through the Bible readings. And normally, if I was starting a Bible study in September with a church where I've just arrived, I'd want to just do a bit of a survey of the Bible, just to look at the Bible, how it was written, and some questions we might have about that. However, because we're in the Easter season, I don't think that's really what I want to do. I want us to kind of engage straight away with the Bible. And the other thing is to say that the way that I'm trying to do this session, and each session will probably be slightly different, is really to get your reaction to the Bible readings that we have. And I've given 3 examples on the sheets of how I react. Now, that's not the correct way. I'm not saying this is how you should react. I'm simply saying this is how I reacted to the readings that we had. And it's perhaps to try to encourage you to have the confidence to follow a slightly different way maybe than you're used to of reading the Bible, whereby you pay attention to how the Bible is speaking to you, what the words are saying to you. So with these readings, you can read it on the sheet. We'll talk about it in our Zoom meeting, but also I've got my sheet here, so I'm looking at that. Also, really, just an approach to it. Start with a prayer, pause a little bit, breathe as you think about the things, and ask yourselves questions about the passage that you're reading. So the first passage is from the Psalms. I particularly responded, as I say, to those words which aren't actually in the lectionary. They're missed out by the lectionary, which starts at verse 1 and finishes at verse 19, but misses out 5 to 11. And I think it's verse 9 which really strikes me, which talks about walking in the land of the living. And to me, that's such an important aspect, particularly of this Easter season, but generally to be walking in the land of the living. And what does that mean, to actually be walking in the land of the living? So the second reading, again, this is just my reflection, what stood out to me from 1 Peter. I say in that one, I struggle a bit with the first part of the reading. One of the things I often suggest in Bible studies is that we don't spend too long looking at the things that confuse us, but we spend longer with the things that we understand. So in this one, I really do understand that Jesus is saying, that Peter is saying, love one another from the heart. And what does that mean? To love one another from the heart. That seems to me a crucial part of this reading. And I do recognise that the reading talks about other things, which perhaps as church members, sometimes we're asked to concentrate more on things about being saved by grace, God's mercy, and Jesus by dying for us, giving us life, and even that word ransomed is used in this reading. But for me, when I read it this time, it was that little bit of the reading that talks about loving one another from the heart. And then in the final reading from Luke 24 that I've picked from the lectionary this week, again it talks about the heart, and there's this thing about their hearts, and it's their eyes. They can't see, but their hearts are speaking to them. And to me, that is really key to that reading, about their hearts being aflame, being awakened to the fire of the resurrection. And then I asked that final question: how do the readings link in your heart or in your mind? And really, for me, I think the main link there is this sense of walking in the land of the living. So on that journey to Emmaus, though they do not know it, they're walking in the land of the living, and really that if we can walk in the land of the living because Christ is alive for us, then our hearts will catch fire.